Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. It is Monday night. It is DPI Live, and we are going to talk a lot of things Disney tonight. I've got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel over on the other screen. He's revved up, raring to go. He's about 6 Red Bulls in, so he should be good to go tonight. We've got Lorcana to talk about. We've got a lot of things going on, and then Wall Street Journal gives us this great piece over the weekend about the dip in return visitors to the parks. So we're definitely going to hit on that. Before we get into the news and everything like that, want to say a quick thank you to everybody that has joined the stream in the last week. We've gotten up about 15 subscribers in the last week. So it's very cool to see that number continue to rise. I want to send some shout outs to some people: John Duffield, Dorothy Bryan, Ruchita Mansinka, Scott DeBron, and Adam Yan. We talked about you last week. Yeah, you guys made yourself public. Thank you for subscribing to the channel over on YouTube. We are on YouTube and Twitch right now. So over on the YouTube side, it is the Disney Planning Insights podcast. Over on Twitch, just look up Matt_DPI. You can find us over there. So, going to go ahead and bring on Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. Start talking a little bit of news. Peter, how you doing today?
Just sorting cards.
Just sorting cards?
Yep.
I got one.
I know you did. I was going to bring that up. Yeah. That's what I'm sorting cards for. I got one more weekend, and I'm going to try and get a second one.
There you go. There you go. You going down to Greenfield this weekend?
Yeah.
Yep. Good deal. Good deal.
You gonna join me?
I will not be joining you. I've got a lot of stuff going on.
Anyway. No, I didn't. I was just asking to be polite. I didn't really want you to.
If I wasn't able to go to Heroes, Hitherto was going to be the place to go. But I was able to go to Heroes. Did well there. Really surprising deck build, but no, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm going with the
that Emerald Steel again.
No, Emerald. No,
not Emerald. Sapphire Steel.
No, I'm gonna build a version of what beat me.
Ah.
I'm gonna take my current other deck and sub out the second color. Just in case any hitherto people are listening on this.
Yeah.
I'm not giving away the milk.
No, the deck that won at Heroes was a very, very simplified Ruby Amethyst.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it only had 16 cards, honestly.
Wow.
And he had cut
wow,
three other cards to a 3 count and brought a 3 count on of the 16th card. I mean,
wow.
And the big twist in his deck was he was running the 8 cost Elsa.
Oh, the shift Elsa?
Yeah. So he
wasn't
wasn't
running the small Elsa to shift it?
Yeah, well, he was running the 5 cost.
And then shifting to the 8.
Yeah, and shifting to the 8 off of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I bet you
just for 8?
Yeah, he drew so many cards against me in 4 games because he was running Kuzco, the little Kuzco, with brooms and Diablos and Turnabogs and rabbits and genies.
I may or may not have all of those.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. And I told him, I said, if I had $1 for every card you drew on me today, I'd have tens and tens of dollars.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
no.
you ended up losing in the quarterfinal or the semifinal to the person who won?
Yeah, I ended up losing in the semis to the guy that won it. So that was my second loss against him on the day too. So,
Oh, geez.
but what was interesting is seeds 1 through 4 lost in the quarters.
I'm thinking about this guy.
Ooh, that's an interesting play.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Put
an
him
interesting
down.
twist.
Right. Put him down and then, yeah.
All right. So let's get into a little bit of the news. I'm actually going to give us a timer today just because I think we can go into a little bit of a rabbit hole with this Wall Street Journal article.
Okay.
So 15 minutes on the 15 minutes on the clock, and of course you care because we care. That's why you got to do it, bud. So I've teased it. I put it in the show title. I've done everything. So Wall Street Journal released an article over the weekend, basically stating that Disney is failing because they're losing the returnability to the park. And it's happening for a few different reasons. One of the reasons is it's stupid expensive to go to the park right now. I mean, you get nickel and dimed. You got nickel and dimed before, but it's a lot different now in the way that they are nickel and diming you. And then there's also the things that they've taken away as well. And I think when you look at those things that have been taken away, that's really where I think they're losing a lot of the return guests. So Peter, what's your take on that, and what are you seeing on the travel agent side? Are you seeing a lot more one and dones, or how does that look on your side?
Yeah, to be completely truthful, if you look at my book right now, I have 2 spring break trips and nothing beyond that. And one of those spring break trips just came in about 2 weeks prior to the 60 days out. So, they were in early January, they reached out to me and we got a booking going and everything like that. But even still, one of those, we did it on, they had called, they're going to, it's a family of 4 and 2 grandparents, and they're going, and before they had reached out to me, but then also reached out to Disney directly, and the cast member, I'm not faulting this person, I totally get it. I guess I'm faulting this cast member for lack of creativity, and it kind of to the point of what the article is talking about. Reached out, and all they pitched them was a 2-bedroom at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay.
And so you're talking, they were going for, it's 5 nights, so they're going for 5 nights, and just for the room, you're talking, the room and park tickets, their reservation was something like $14,000-$15,000.
Yeah.
Right, like, just crazy. At least 13. I don't know the exact cost because they put a down payment, then they got with me, then they canceled that one, and we did it. So I talked to him. I was like, well, did they not talk to you about, like, grandparents have a room, family have a room? Well, no. Well, I mean, here are some other options, and we could totally do grandparents have a room, family has a room, family could have a 5th sleeper room to have 3 beds, grandparents could get a king bed, or could also have a 5th sleeper room. That way, if grandkids need to go to bed with them. Matt just left, so I'll just go ahead and keep answering this question, and then when he comes back, we'll be done. So I talked to all through all that and saved ridiculous amounts of money. But more directly to the point of your question, this is the lowest I've ever had. The fact that I don't have any summers, the fact that I don't have any falls. I mean, I've been a travel agent now for what, Matt, 5-ish?
Yeah, 2019, coming up on almost 6 years now.
Yeah, because we went for our first time when Addie was about to turn 1, and then I was a travel agent before Addie was 3, and now she just turned
10.
She just turned 10.
Yeah.
Maybe I was a travel agent when she was 3, but still, yeah, this is from when I became a Disney travel agent. Now, again, I don't do a ton of marketing. It's not my bread and butter. It's not putting eggs on the table. um, but I mean, I normally would have, especially to your point, I had a solid 5 or 6 families that would reach out to me about once a year, and none of them have reached out to me this year. And in fact, 2 of them that had something on the books later then said, "Hey, go ahead and cancel that. We're gonna keep saving and looking at other options. We'll be back in touch." So yes, I do think a lot of the things that they have taken away, and at the same time cost increased. You and I have talked about it before. We are some of the most magically bitten dads in existence, and we're both middle class individuals. You know, we're not hurting by any stretch of the imagination, but it's getting really hard to swallow the pill when there's a lot of other things that money can be going towards. You know, I used to be a 3 to 4 trips a year person, and right now we've got 1. We're going to go spring break, and I don't believe we're going to go again. And we only went spring break last year. We didn't go fall, Christmas, anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we did 2 last year, and we've got 1 on the books for this year, which we're going to do, you know, a land and sea this year, and we're probably just going to end up doing the land, just because we've got the bounce back deal at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So, right. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, one of the things that the Wall Street Journal brought up is that kind of the average cost of a Walt Disney World vacation, for a family of 4 with a 4-day visit, is about $4,200 right now. $4,266 is what they came up with. I would
even put that on the low side.
Yeah, I would too, because
room and tickets, that cost right there is like, if you're at Pop, no more than Caribbean Beach on a deal.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah. You know, in the report also said that 80% of the cost jump from 5 years ago was associated with things that used to be free. So, you know, that's a huge number. And then Disney, so like I said, Disney kind of replies to this indirectly and posts their own thing about all the deals that they have going on and all that kind of stuff. And Disney argues that the same family of 4 could enjoy a 4-day vacation for as little as $3,026 before food and transportation costs. And they don't need to purchase Lightning Lane passes to have a good time. So well, if you take you don't. But if you take a bare bones trip and stay at an all-star resort, yeah, that $3,000 is kind of your entry cost.
Yeah.
And then you're putting food on top of it.
How many nights did they quote that at?
It's a 4-day vacation.
4-day, 3 nights.
So 3 night, yeah.
Right. So Disney's rebuttal is, what are you talking about? You can go for $1,000 per day.
Exactly.
Right. Like, and whenever I talk to clients, I always tell them that you should budget, if you're going to do any sit-down restaurants at all and not do the dining plan, you should, on the safe side, budget $400 to $500, basically $100 per person for food every day that you're there. And that's just for food, and maybe, you know, a souvenir here and there. Because if you sit down at a buffet with, even if they're under 10 years old, you're still paying $40.
Yeah, $40.
Yeah, $40, $45 for the kids' plate, $60 for the parents' plate, and any kid over 10 or over, you know. So
yeah, yep. Hey, Natasha, we're doing well. How are you doing? Talking some Disney tonight, so let us know if you have any questions. Yeah, so this report is, you know, we talk about this a lot on the show. You know, one of the things that we try and do with this show is kind of let people know the ins and outs of planning the vacations and what's changing and what has changed and how do you get the best bang for your buck and that kind of stuff. So a lot of the things that were in this report weren't big surprises. I mean, not things that really jumped out and really startled me. But one thing that they did say did, and then after talking it through with my wife today, it was just kind of like, oh, it makes a little bit more sense, but it doesn't make sense at how the way that Disney explained it. So one of the things that was taken away, and one of the things that hurt me the most, was Magical Express. Magical Express was one of my favorite things to use, one of my favorite reasons to go to Disney, because when you got to the airport, your vacation started. You weren't lugging your bags to an Uber, you weren't, doing anything like that. They got your bags off the plane, they took them to your resort, you got on the bus, you went to your resort. Your vacation started basically when you got off that plane at Orlando International. Well, what Disney came out and said, well, about 30% of families were using that service. And at first that number seemed...
30% of your family still. That's a huge amount of people.
Yeah, at first it didn't sound like a whole lot. And then I was thinking, well, hold on. When you think about 50% capacity at the parks, that's 100,000 people at the parks every day. And 30% of that is 30,000 people. So, if you have 30,000 people utilizing that service roughly every day, that's 9 million people a year.
It's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And then you think...
Even if you consider okay, but people come for 4 or 5 days, Matt, it's not, right? But still, yeah, you're talking probably 10,000 people getting on those buses every day.
Yeah. And then
still over 250,000 guests that you just added the $50 Uber to.
Exactly. And, lugging their luggage and all those other things that Magical Express took care of are now a cost associated, an effort associated, a delay in vacation association with that as well. So it's just those are the types of things that I think, and as I think through kind of why Disney is going in the direction that Disney is, it's because of things like this. They're taking away that ability to have this strong vacation that is very different than anywhere else, that lets a family stay together, and they're turning it into every other theme park you can go to, which kind of sucks. I mean, with that being said, I mean, it just, with the addition of rides that kind of tear families apart and everything that they've added to the cost side of the parks, it just makes it really, really hard to justify it to some people that are on the fence.
Yeah, you and I could sit here and talk about, we've done plenty of shows where we've talked about, the cost of lightning lanes, and now there's this new, pass that lets you skip every single line once, and the original price tag on that thing was over $300.
And it still is. I mean, it maxes out at $489 per person per day.
Could you listen to that, right?
Yeah. The same pass in Europe, the same pass at the Paris park was 189 euros per person per day. So it was roughly $210.
And that right there is similar to the pass at Universal, just to name one.
Yeah.
Just down the road. The
Max Pass.
Yeah, it's like Express Pass.
Yeah. So it just,
the Unlimited Express Pass.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead. You keep.
Max Pass was Disneyland, wasn't it?
I believe you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. So before we run out of 100% of our timer, because we are at 1 minute and 17 seconds right now.
Express. Okay, so the Express Unlimited is 120 to 320 depending on the day.
That is a huge spread.
Well, right. Yeah, and it is and that one lets you do an unlimited number of rides on a bunch of the rides and one time on the others. So Disney's is just Disney's is just the one time per ride.
One
So
time
the
per ride, yeah.
Universal Standard, yeah. So one time per ride on the Universal Express Pass, from 90 to 299. I don't know why there's this huge range.
All right. Other news. Adventures by Disney announced some of their 2026 offerings, and one of their new offerings is going to be a Disney river cruise through southern France. It's going to be an 8-day Adventures by Disney river cruise through southern France, starting in Lyon, with several interactive experiences along the way to Provence. Really cool itinerary on this one. You can go over to the Disney Parks Twitter page and check that one out. Disney Cruise Line released their summer 2026 cruises. A couple of transatlantic cruises, which is really cool. Not a huge change to a lot of the itineraries, but the transatlantic offerings are pretty interesting. That's always something that I've been interested in, so pretty cool to see there. There's a behind the scenes in Fantasmic. If you're wanting to check that out, it's over. Walt Disney ambassadors take fans behind the scenes at Fantasmic. It's over on the Mickey blog page. We'll get into the Lorcana stuff here in a second. There's a lot going on. Luke Skywalker is coming to Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland as part of the Twin Spires. What's that?
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah, that's going to be a cool one. The announcement, or the little teaser, was really cool with R2-D2. Really cool over there. Red Car Trolley at Disney California Adventure Park had its last ride last night. It is closing down because the work yard where they maintain it and all that kind of stuff is actually where part of the expansion of Avengers Campus is going to be. So they are no longer going to be able to offer the red trolley car service. It was a neat little just trolley car that ran down from Buena Vista Boulevard down around the theater and kind of to the edge of Avengers Campus, and then turned around and came back. Wasn't a lot to it, but it was just, it's one of those things that Disney keeps taking away, that kinetic motion, that just things to look at, things to see, things happening, things that are making you move, that kind of stuff. That kind of really bums me out when I think about what's going on at the parks. Disneyland shared a video of Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto's new outfits for Disneyland's 70th anniversary. The 70th celebration begins on May the 16th, so you'll be there just ahead of that. Yep. And then there's that new Villains theme parade coming to, was this Tokyo Disney? Tokyo Disney. I'm almost certain it is. Disney, yeah, Tokyo Disneyland. It's a Villains theme parade, which is going to be really cool during their Halloween season. And Disney Princess Inspired Collection is coming to Bath and Body Works.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because, everybody hated H2O so much that they didn't steal it from their hotels and take it home with them. But fragrances inspired by Cinderella Jasmine, Belle, Aurora. I think there's 18 different products that are going to hit Bath & Body Works stores near you in this week, February 16th. So, Ariel, Belle, Cinderella Jasmine, Moana, and Tiana are the princesses that will have Bath & Body Works scents inspired by them. And then Seasons of Fire is why Luke Skywalker is going to be at Galaxy's Edge. So, yeah, that's going to be really cool. Really cool. Anything else on the news that you're seeing, Peter?
Nope, not really since last week.
Okay.
Nothing really new.
So, real quick, let's not take a ton of time. I'd like to do like a top 3 or something tonight. Let's talk about what's going on in the world of Lorcana, because there was some pretty big news that happened last week with Lorcana. And basically what happened was they are going into this huge pause. They kind of evaluated what happened in Melbourne a couple weekends ago. Decided that they were going to make a closed-door decision on the events that happened there. In that closed-door decision, they awarded a golden Mickey to the player that was affected in that rules situation.
Which is bull crap.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go. Specie over on YouTube has a crazy good analysis of what happened and why it happened and what else was going on in the event.
You're talking the broom play, right?
Yeah, the broom play. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking the broom goat play.
Yeah. But there was a lot more that led up to that I didn't necessarily know about. So there were a couple players that had been like getting people disqualified for not putting a damage counter on Smee at the end of a turn. And just like they were taking advantage of the situation to get game wins.
I literally forgot to do that. I forget to do that half the time with Smee.
So yeah,
That's
so
why you friendly just say and Smee takes a damage. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Take a damage. Like,
so a lot of things came out of that, and one thing was the realization by Ravensburger and the Lorcana team that they do need a certified judging system, and they need to figure out how to do that. They haven't figured that out yet. They've just been kind of taking volunteer judges that knew the game and saying, okay, you run with this. Well, you just had a challenge event in a country that really hasn't had much else of events going on, and said, hey, we need challenge level judges, national competition level judges, and you didn't have it. So they've put a hold on Worlds, which Worlds were supposed to be in early March. There's no way they could do Worlds in early March right now. They did do the release of some of the new mechanics of the next set today, which is the introduction of the dual ink and a lot of the dual ink cards, which is really cool. But yeah, it's kind of a holding pattern now. We don't know where the Lorcana Challenge events are going to happen in 2025, if they're going to happen in 2025. And we don't know where Worlds are going to... I mean, we know where they're going to be, we just don't know when they're going to happen. So just a lot going on the Lorcana side right now as the Azerite Sea Championships kind of wind down. You know, last weekend, or this past weekend, was supposed to be the last weekend. I know that there's a few stores, because of Super Bowl and when, you know, that fell, that have extended to this weekend coming up, whether or not Ravensburger agreed with it or not. So, but yeah, I know. But yeah, so lots going on there. So new set comes out early March. Arcasiel Island. It's going to be focusing around the pets of Disney characters, with a big focus on the characters of the movie Bolt. But a lot of the cards that have come out so far are really neat with that Dual Ink platform. If you want to check those out, you can go over to the Lorcana website and check out some of the new things that are coming out with that. So yeah, so lots going on there. So Peter, you're still playing with cards over there?
Yeah, man. You're just sitting here going through stuff, so I'm just waiting. Just wait until I hear my name, and then I'll snap back in.
All right. You want to do a top 3?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hit a top 3 here.
I just got to go find a 2-ink Cusco.
All right, here we go. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen over there, I have Peter with Princesses in the Mouse, Disney Travel.
Howdy.
What's going on? Peter's just playing with his Lorcana cards over there. I mean...
Oh, wait, I found set 2. Oh, it's green and red. Dang it.
It is top 3 time. If you have been here before, welcome back. We have done one top 3 since June of last year, which is crazy to even think about. But, yeah.
We did one just 2 weeks ago.
Yep, that's the only one we've done since June of last year.
Okay.
If you haven't been here before...
We don't have opinions on things anymore.
If you haven't been here before, our top 3 segment is kind of a random segment where we are going to pick a category based on the poker chips in this bag here. And we are going to have 30 seconds to figure out our top 3 of that category. A lot of these are listener and viewer recommended ideas, so let's get into it. You should label your boxes.
I know, I was actually just thinking that. I was like, I gotta put labels on the front.
All right. We are going to be doing chip number 2 today. Chip number 2 associates us with our favorite country pavilions in World Showcase.
Oh, boy. This is hard to put a top 3 on because, you know, there's just not a ton overall.
There are not a ton overall, so we have got to figure this out. Our number 1s could be number 2s for other people, but you've got 30 seconds to figure it out, so here's the ad.
Thinking about taking a trip to Disneyland, Disney World, maybe a Disney cruise, or one of the other amazing Disney destinations? Contact me at Princess of the Mouse, and I'd love to work with you on your itinerary to the most magical places in the world.
You can contact Princesses in the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. So during the ad, Peter basically gave me the not it.
Yeah, I found my box, but I didn't think about the question all that much. So.
All right.
Oh, so first grab though, went right in and grabbed them right out. All right.
What are those? Mim snakes?
Nah, Cusco's.
Cusco's. All right. So top 3 question tonight is our top 3 favorite countries that have pavilions at the World Showcase at Epcot. This is Peter's favorite place at any of the Disney parks.
Getting prepared because
World Showcase. And number 3, there's a lot that you have to take into consideration when you're thinking about a World Showcase pavilion. But for number 3, I'm going to take a pretty obvious one, and I'm going to start with the Norway Pavilion. Norway Pavilion gives me 3 things that kind of really stand out. First is going to be the Akershus restaurant. It's a restaurant that we go and have breakfast at quite a bit with that character meal there. You've also got the Frozen ride, and then you've got the Kringla Bakery where you can get troll horns, or, you know, if you're into coconut, the school bread. Yeah, no.
I cannot believe you sent this number 3. This should have been number 2 or arguably number 1.
No,
this guy throws Norway number 3, folks.
I did because I have a pretty strong number 1.
And I was going to be polite enough to leave it for you.
Possibly.
No, I know what your number 1 is.
But, you know, Norway also offers a couple of other things that if you didn't know they were there, you may not, might not ever find them. One of them is a little walk through history of Norse legend, which is in that front building, but it's got little side door entrances to it. And then also there is a meet and greet with Anna and Elsa over kind of on the far left of the pavilion, which another thing a lot of people don't know is there because it just kind of looks like a building that's just sitting out off to the side of the pavilion. So, yeah, no, I think it's a good start because it's got a lot of things that are going for it, but
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
why
it's
a number 2 or a number 1.
I don't think it's a number 2 or a number 1. This is what you get for letting me go first. Don't even.
But I wouldn't have said Norway. I would have been saving Norway, and then I would have been just as shocked that you did Norway number 3.
All right, Peter, what's your number 3?
Oh my gosh, not Norway. That's for damn sure. I'm gonna say your number 1 is my number 3, just to get you back.
Go for it.
No, I'm not gonna do that. So number 3, I'm gonna go just to the side of Norway, and I'm gonna talk about Mexico here real quick. I think Mexico is a fantastic pavilion in the World Showcase. And obviously what sets it apart is that big, gigantic Aztec temple. Going in there is so incredibly cool. Just this big transformation from the outside grandeur of it to then coming in and seeing a little bit about kind of the culture, the Hispanic culture behind Coco that inspired that movie and all of that. And then ultimately going down into the area where you're essentially out at a market at night in the streets of Mexico.
Yeah.
And I just think it is just so incredibly cool. It's such a neat experience. And if you have never dined there at San Angel Inn, definitely worth your time. The only knock against Mexico, which is why it's in my number 3 slot, because I wouldn't dream of sending something that has no flaws like Norway into my number 3 spot. I will talk about the one flaw in Mexico, and that is just simply the Three Caballeros ride. It is outdated. It is time to just close it down, gut the whole tunnel, and give us Encanto / if we want to go just straight Mexico, Coco, but you could put in some of the other, you could go. Well, no, Road to El Dorado wasn't Disney. I was going to say Road to El Dorado, but that's not Disney. So definitely give us a Coco ride there. Gut that whole stinking tunnel because Encanto's getting their due, and they're in South America, not Mexico. But give us Coco, and then that pavilion is just going to be absolutely perfection. For the adults in your life, the Choza de Margarita on the left when you first walk into the pavilion is a great place to pick up margaritas. And then if you would like the even more sophisticated, because those frozen ones out front in Choza de Margarita are fantastic. But if you go inside, you will find the tequila bar inside where you can do all sorts of amazing margaritas. And you can even do tequila tastings for an event charge. That is just a really, really cool thing. And if the San Angel Inn, if the low light is not your thing, some of the same dishes can be found across the way in La Hacienda de San Angel. Many of the same dishes, but more of a lively, upbeat kind of, those bright colors, those kind of grainy pastels, type of earthy pastels type of thing in there. And it's really cool. It's so beautiful in there because you're looking out onto the lake. I have luckily had a reservation there when Disney Storm decided to drop multiple inches of rain or what seemed like multiple inches of rain. Let's put it this way. I walked out of La Hacienda and went over to the pyramid and walked through water that was past ankle deep. So it was a lot of rain in a short period of time. So that's going to be my number 3, Mexico. Fantastic pavilion. The age-old, do you go left or do you go right? I always say neither. But if I were to be given the choice, I would probably go left if I was looking to start my experience around the World Showcase from that area. I always say neither. I'll explain in a minute. Matt, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm going to go to the back of the park, and I've got 3 in the back of the park that I really enjoy, but I'm going to go to Japan for my number 2. Just because my favorite restaurant, my family's favorite restaurant, is in the Japanese pavilion in Teppanito. It offers a lot of cultural flair, and I think when we talk about each of these pavilions, it is very worth your time to go in and get lost in these pavilions. The farther back into the pavilion you get, the more culture you get. So, like in the back of the Japanese pavilion is this great anime exhibit that you have got to get all the way back in there to get to. but it's a really, really cool, look through Japanese anime.
What is that? The Art of Cute is back
Yeah,
there?
yeah, because it's like Hello Kitty, and then kind of builds off of that, and it's really cool. Shopping at Japan is at a premium there. You have the Pearl experience up in the front of that gift shop there. You can also get your own kimonos there if you want. So it just really, really cool experience on the shopping side. You get up into the restaurants, and you basically have 3 tiers of restaurants. You have a sushi and almost like quick service restaurant at the front of the big ornamental building, and then you have Teppanydo in the back, which is the hibachi restaurant, and then you have the fine dining experience across the pavilion. And you've done the fine dining experience, haven't you, Peter?
No, we bailed on it. We did have a reservation there, but it was just a little bit too pricey. As he is talking about Shikisai.
Yeah, Shikisai.
Shikisai. Yeah, the menu on that, it is a prefix menu, so you're just all in. And I was originally going to go on a trip with it was going to be myself and a friend was going to come join me, so I booked the reservation. My wife ended up coming along with, and my friend ended up bailing. And so the reservation of 2 was great, but now a $600 meal versus a $300 meal. And my wife was now coming, so I went from my expenses to both of our expenses. So we trimmed it down a little bit. But and Tokyo Dining, you were talking about in front of Teppanydo, is also a fantastic restaurant. My daughter, I found out there that my daughter likes clams. She had never had a clam before, but she ate my wife's entire appetizer of it.
Couple of entertainment notes back there. You have the Tokyo Drummers back there that perform throughout the day, which is a traditional Japanese drum show. And then also, it is one of the best vantage points for the nighttime show, either at the fence or up on the balcony to check out Luminous right now. So definitely a couple of places that are tier 1 locations to check out the night shows. So my number 2 is going to be the Japan Pavilion. Peter, where are you going for your number 2?
Oh, for my number 2, I'm going to hedge my bets and make sure, well, I guess, you know what, if these 3 get mentioned, I'm sure these 3 will get mentioned. If not, I'll cheat and give honorable mention. So for my number 2, and then we'll see where Matt goes with number 1. I'll go ahead and go to Germany with my number 2. It is one of my other favorite pavilions. I am German, and so there is just something special about sitting down in Germany with the delicious Schafferhefer grapefruit Hefeweizen beer with either a big old pretzel or a brat with a ton of sauerkraut and mustard all over it, or at the festivals, all of the festivals, you have the Alps Garden area where you can get all sorts of delicious stuff, from fondue cheeses, special Hefeweizens from Schafferhefer, and all sorts of fantastic stuff. So the German Pavilion is absolutely one of the best. Couple of some other fantastic things in there besides just kind of snacking around. You have the Beer Garden, which is a restaurant, or Oktoberfest, sorry. No, it's the Beer Garden?
Beer Garden, yeah, it's Beer Garden.
Yeah, so Beer Garden, which is essentially, as I said, kind of an Oktoberfest celebration all year long. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet with German cuisine, and you have a live polka band that highlights the whole thing, where kids can go down to the front. You learn a little bit about German culture and have an absolutely fantastic meal. And the beers, I tells you, are fantastic in there. And then out in front, again, great shopping. As Matt said, you can get a lot of really, really cool, authentic things from all of these pavilions for those locations around the world. But then there is the Caramel Kitchen, Caramel Küche, is up at the front. And it is awesome because you walk in there and they are fresh making some of their delicious goods, and it is just delicious to smell. One of our first things, our first time in Epcot, we will always pass by and we will buy a couple of bags of Werther's to toss in the backpack for the trip. So, just whatever flavors of Werther's, because they have so many flavors of Werther's in there. And then last thing, which you can just absolutely walk by without even noticing, there is a really cool model train set just to the right of the bathrooms. And that's the last thing. These are arguably the best bathrooms in World Showcase. Big, spacious, never lines, always a great place if you want to, have a little bit of privacy while you're, dropping off the beer garden.
They made the top 3 bathrooms of Walt Disney World when we did the top 3 bathrooms of Walt Disney World. So,
so
I mean, they're that good. They are.
Alone, this pavilion belongs in this segment. Model train set, really, really cool. There's authentic glass blowing. I mean, there's so much cool stuff going on in Germany that it's always worth your time. So let's head to our number 1, and we'll see what Matt says for his number 1, because I saved myself 2 that I'm willing to talk about as the number 1 pavilion.
Yeah, see, I'm split between 2 as well, so I think we may have the same one as our extra one, but I'm gonna take the easy route just because it's just absolutely loaded with things to do. I'm gonna go with the France Pavilion. You have the Ratatouille ride. You have 2 just unbelievable restaurants. You have the creperie. You have the bakery. You have the gelato stand. You've got all the things. And then when you go like Flower and Garden Festival, you've got the Beauty and the Beast topiary and the Remy topiary, and it just, that place is absolutely alive with French culture 365 days a year. It is a fantastic pavilion. You're probably going to have the best meal that you have while you're at the parks if you eat at one of those 2 restaurants, either Chef du France or, oh God, what's the one upstairs?
Monsieur Paul.
Monsieur Paul. And then the creperie's awesome. You have to go back around like you're going to the Ratatouille's Adventure to get to it, but it's back in the new part of the pavilion. Sight lines on this pavilion are fantastic. You get the Skyliner coming down beside you. All kinds of. I mean, it's just a fantastic place. You get, the wine slushies, and there's just a lot of things that really make this super, super top end. And there's a reason why it's always super busy, because there is so much to do back in that pavilion. But yeah, definitely one of the top 3 rides at the park right now. 2 of the top restaurants in the park. It's just one of those. And then you have Impressions de France, the film that you can go see, and then they've been mixing that in with a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So you've got that as well. So there's, I mean,
from LeFou's perspective.
Yes. So just a lot going on. So my number 1 country pavilion in Epcot is going to be the France Pavilion. And now I put you in kind of a weird spot because there's 2 kind of standing out there. But Peter, before you give us your number 1, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me over, it's been scrolling this whole episode where you can find me, but over at our Wix site or as well over on Facebook. Just go ahead and type in Disney Travel Agent, Princess and the Mouse, whatever. Should come up pretty easily, especially if you're in the Midwest, just because location settings, I think, will send you to me a little bit quicker.
Yep.
But happy to work with anyone from anywhere. I have planned trips for people traveling in from Brazil. I have planned trips for people from Britain. I'm always happy to work with anyone from anywhere, and of course people from all around the U.S. And here's the crazy thing, Matt and I talk about it all the time. I will not upsell you. I talked about that in our daily episode. at the beginning of our live show. For those of you watching this later on, I had a family come to me. I mean, they had talked to a cast member. They had put them into a package, and I offered a simple suggestion, and the next thing you know, we were half that cost. So now they're going to go probably spend all of that money, but not feel stretched across too thin and having to sacrifice the experience due to a budget. So, you know, the fact that they had gone, oh my gosh, this is our budget for just room and tickets. And then I said, actually, you just make that your budget for the whole stinking thing and go absolutely hog wild. So yeah, love to talk to you. As I also talked about in our live show, plenty of availability to get some bookings on and get you taken care of in a very personalized manner, making you the right vacation. Okay. My number one. Yeah, there's so many really great pavilions, and I honestly want to talk about all of them because all of the pavilions are fantastic. As Matt said at the beginning, this is without a doubt my favorite park. My retirement goal is to work at a golf course down there as a greenskeeper, get off the mower at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, head home, take a shower, and then sit out at the lake. And for that reason, this is going to be my number one pavilion, because while I'm retired and sitting out at the lake, you better believe there's going to be a snake bite in my hand that came from the UK pavilion. So I'm going to go with the UK pavilion as my number one. This is probably not a popular choice for number one, although all due respect to everybody else with other opinions, we probably hit your number one already, because your number one, Norway's there, France is there, like we've got Japan, you know, and yes, China and Morocco and Italy, and they're all amazing as well. Canada as well. Credit where it's due. The host pavilion in America for all the amazing shows that it brings in, but UK is just whenever I get asked, do you go left or right? Well, I am either staying at Hop Century, Caribbean Beach, or Riviera Resort if I'm using my DVC points. Almost exclusively. I would say 80% of my trips, 4 out of 5 trips, are at one of those 3 resorts.
And Peter's coming in the back door.
Yeah, exactly. And if not, then it's the couple times that we go to Polynesian on DVC points. So, yeah, when I enter, or maybe Beach Club or Boardwalk, right? But even then, I come in Epcot from the Skyliner, because I'm staying at Hop Century if I'm going cheap, Caribbean Beach if I'm going kind of middle, want a nice facility, and then I'm going Beach Club, Riviera, or Boardwalk. Very rarely do I stay not at any of those 5 resorts, unless I'm going hecka cheap and I'm looking for like a $110 All-Star room. But then you can tell he's going for it. But anyway, I digress. So I come in that way, and the very, very first thing that I do is I walk into Rose and Crown and grab myself a delicious snake bite with a little black currant, a diesel for you, you over there in the UK. It is so fantastic, and that drink means Disney to me. It is something that throughout the course of a vacation, I will get multiple times. Every time I walk by, there have been times where we're getting ready to leave, and I walk in and grab one, and then my family's like, oh, and I'll say, I'll have it done by the time we get to the gate. It's fine. It is just, I just love them. They're just so crisp, refreshing, delicious. So the UK pavilion for the Rose and Crown is wonderful. Now, why else besides just the nostalgia for me? Rose and Crown is really cool because they do a dining package where you can watch the fireworks show while having your dining meal. Since they took away the Frozen Ever After fireworks dessert party, this is one of the ways in which you can still kind of get a dining experience wrapped around your fireworks show.
Yep.
Highly recommend that. On the flip side, if you go past the fish market, that is a fantastic place. Matt mentioned Tokyo, the Japan Pavilion. Great spot to watch the fireworks, 100% agree. If you want that quick out, though, before the Skyliner line gets too long, if you are at one of those along the Skyliner resorts, great spot is if you go to the right of Yorkshire County Fish Market or Fish Shop, go down into that seating area, and you can typically find some space to kind of nestle your family in. And so that way, as those last fireworks are going up, you're turning and you're already walking up that bridge to walk down before that Skyliner line turns all the way up to a 20, 30-minute thing. You can still typically get on it where you're constantly moving and really just queuing up once you're in the station. There is a meet and greet with Winnie the Pooh. There's a meet and greet with Alice. There's a meet and greet with Mary Poppins. All of those are just kind of there throughout different times of the year. They have a small band. They have a small stage in the back area where they bring in some bands as well, especially during the festivals.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody flocks to the big one over in America. You can sit out under a nice shady tree and just listen to a band out in that courtyard. And it is just a perfectly peaceful afternoon. And then the hope in the future is that we do see the Cherry Tree Lane exhibit to further that Mary Poppins and get the Banks family house to be able to go in, and potentially a Mary Poppins themed ride that was given to us a couple of D23s ago and is kind of still blue skied as of right now. But hopefully in the future, we're going to see past that little band area that I just said, an extension. And then little known thing is the Twinnings Tea Shop there is awesome. A great, like, the number of teas that you can go in and get. And they have these herbal diffusers, and they are great to toss in your reusable water bottle that you and your family take. We'll toss one in there. We'll refill it all day and just have this, whatever flavor we picked. We really like the watermelon mint. That's one of our favorites. Put that in the water bottle. The water's going to keep tasting like that. Throw it away at the end of the night. Put a new one in the next morning. Yep. So that tea shop is just a fantastic add to your experience. Those gardens are beautiful. It's a great. It doesn't have the ooh-ah of the Norway or the France, but it is definitely a staple in the way that I experience the World Showcase. So
there you go.
That is my number one. Apologize for the long-windedness.
No, you're good. You're good. I figured you were going UK, so I was like, I could have gone American Pavilion, but I really disassociate the stage with the American Pavilion. So then you're just talking about Regal Eagle, Voices of Liberty, whether they've got an exhibit going on, and then the American Adventure.
And on that topic, like, for me, the American Pavilion being the host country and all that, but for me as an American, it's
experiencing
special,
everything
right?
else.
Right. It's not a cultural experience for me.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
a celebration of the nation I live in.
Yeah.
The show is fantastic. It's a great place to catch a nap.
It is. You go middle of the day, catch that 20-minute nap, and head out of there. Shannon,
Morocco is beautiful with the glass.
Yeah.
With the tile work. I mean, yeah. And cider flight. Morocco Pavilion, cider flights.
Shannon just popped out. She goes, "You can't nap during America's history."
Yeah, because the fireworks towards the end wake you up. When they all come popping out and all the curtains drop down. It's a great, like, we got a couple minutes left.
Shannon's top three: American Pavilion because she loves the American Experience show, Norway because of the ride, Helly Hansen Apparel Shop in Akershus, France because of the creperie and Ratatouille. So, 100%, American Pavilion can jump in there in most people's top three. I think I'm with you, Peter. When I think about World Showcase, I'm thinking about the other countries and not necessarily America. So, no, 100%. So, another great top three. Thanks for joining us on that. If you're still with us on the live show, we're going to jump into one more segment, and then we'll get you out of here. So, yeah. We'll talk to you guys later on the top three.
One more segment was news to me.
Whoa. Yeah, here we go. Hey, what's up? Wow, what'd I do there? You are huge on this screen. Mr. Salvatore.
That's body shaming.
It is a little bit, I guess.
I don't appreciate that.
All right. So I'm going to change cameras over here so you can see what I'm seeing. Because no, not that. Camera. Don't turn it off. I want that one, I think. Yep, there we go.
Oh.
All right.
Yes. Speaking of other nations' culture.
Other nations' cultures. We've got a few.
Matt imported some.
So I've been the hit. Here we go. At some of the events here locally, because I ran into some Japanese Lorcana cards here, and so I figured I'd save some for the show. This is the Japanese set. Japanese set comes in 16 packs of 6 cards. So all the boxes are light, but they cost about a third of what a box here in the States cost, which is really nice. So you can get these, stateside now for about $55. I split a box with one of the guys that I play with. So we've got some packs that we're checking out, we're cracking, we're putting into our decks, having some fun with it. I played with a Chinese Captain Hook over the weekend, which was a lot of fun to put out on the table. So, so common cards, we got the Genie, Tinkerbell, and the Gaston. Uncommon card, we've got Kronk. We've got, Big Tink, ultra rare. That is immediately going into the deck.
Fantastic rip.
That is immediately going into the deck. And then a common Merlin.
What?
But on the foil side, these foils are crazy. You can see how the light hits it and just makes the card disappear. They have so much better foiling than the American cards. So yeah, but that's a huge rip there. That Big Tink out of the first pack. Over on the Chinese side, I was lucky enough to snag a couple of these in a trade with a buddy. So we've got a few more of these to open up. But Sebastian, this is the simplified Chinese version. The Goons, Rapunzel. So on these, you normally will get 3 common.
You already have an uncommon.
Yeah, and then an uncommon or better. So when you get an uncommon in the 3rd slot, it means you've got something better. We've got a rare there, and it's the rare Hades. And then an uncommon Starkey foil, which isn't great. And then some of the spoils from over the weekend.
That Tink was awesome.
Yeah, the Tink pool's fantastic. I will be playing Steel in set 7, it looks like now. So, with some of the older packs, I ran into some Floodborne packs and that kind of stuff from another guy that I play with. So I'm not really going to look through a lot of the commons and uncommons. Really, I want to look at the better cards here. So it starts out with a Lady Tremaine, which is a great pull. Legendary Donald Duck.
Okay.
Ultra rare Raya foil.
Wow, what a pack!
Start. Yeah, that was a pack to start.
Tremaine's got you covered right there.
Inklings here. What do we got on the Inklings pack here? These are the old packs too, so you can tell the old packs from the new packs because of the cut on the cards.
Yep.
On the info cards, on the old packs they're square cut. On the new packs they're rounded edges. So
yeah, a bunch of kids poked their eye out.
So this one, we go to the rares. Bare Necessities is the first rare.
Good one.
A Gustav the Giant rare, and then an ultra rare Little John foil. So, another decent
is good.
Ultra rare there.
Those simple bare necessities. Don't worry about the worries or your strife. Yeah, man.
Ursula's. Get to the back here. We've got a Super Goo.
Oh!
A legendary. Legendary Hades. Then a common
Oh, my
tuk-tuk.
Man, you had those are some packs right there.
And then one more
We
for
got
good
one more.
measure. Yeah. Shimmering Skies.
Pinch to grow an inch.
Let's see what we got here.
Get ready, everyone.
Get to the back. First slot's an ultra rare Maleficent, ultra rare Cusco, and then the uncommon Bashful foil. So,
Yeah.
oh, that was a set of pools. So, are you having hot flashes over there?
Yeah, I got the vapors. seeing that Japanese tink.
So I've got a few more groups of those for the show, so we'll do that for the next few weeks. It'll be a lot of fun to see what we can pull out of these packs, especially in the foreign packs. The foreign packs have been a lot of fun to check out. So yeah, the ultra rare Tink Japanese is awesome. I wish I would have opened this before the weekend, because I was playing the Tink over the weekend, so that would have been great. All right, well, thank you guys all for joining us this week. If you have anything on the Disney side that you see that you want us to know about, just let us know. You can get in touch with us on all kinds of social media accounts. I'll go over it in the closing, but easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast and on the Twitter X machine at Disney Insights. But have you guys a good week, and we will talk to you next Monday. Bye now. Hey, we had Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel join us tonight. We talked a lot about that Wall Street Journal article about the lack of returning guests and got into a top 3 and some Lorcana. On social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the show page, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. If you're over on the Twitter X machine, you can find us at Disney Insights, on YouTube at the Disney Planning Insights Podcast, on Twitch at Matt_DPI. Thank you guys all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, everything that you do to support the channel. You have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you on next Monday.